Size doesn't matter in the way you're hoping this video will tell you it does. Sorry, but it does tell us some interesting things about your health, hormones, and biology. First things first, what's actually normal? The average testicle is about 4 to 5 centimeters long and roughly 2 to 3 centimeters wide. That's about the size of a walnut or a small egg. And yes, I know you're already mentally measuring yours right now. Stop it. We'll get there. Here's the thing nobody tells you. They're almost never the same size. One is usually larger than the other, and one hangs lower. This isn't a manufacturing defect that's literally designed this way, so they don't smash into each other when you move. Evolution looked at human testicles and went, you know what? Let's give them some spacing. Thanks. Evolution. Real thoughtful. Also, they change size throughout the day. Temperature, arousal, stress. Whether you've been sitting in a hot car, all of this affects how they look. So if you're comparing morning measurements to evening measurements, congratulations! You've discovered thermoregulation. But here's where it gets interesting. Size can actually tell us stuff about what is going on inside your body. Let's talk about the guys who are sitting here thinking, okay, but mine are definitely smaller than that. First of all, breathe. Smaller doesn't automatically mean problem, but it can indicate a few things worth knowing about. Low testosterone. Sometimes not always, but sometimes smaller testicles can be associated with lower testosterone production. Your testicles are literally testosterone factories. So if the factory is smaller, sometimes the output is lower. But here's the plot twist. Some guys with smaller testicles have perfectly normal testosterone levels. Biology is not a vending machine where you input size and get a predictable output. Varicocele or previous issues. If you've had injuries, infections, or something called a varicocele, basically varicose veins in your scrotum, which sounds as uncomfortable as it is, this can affect size. Not always, but it's on the list of possibilities. Hormonal stuff during development. Puberty is when these bad boys really get going. If there were hormonal imbalances during that time, it might have affected development. This is less about you did something wrong and more about biology is complicated. Age. Here's a fun fact nobody wants to hear. As you age, testosterone production decreases and testicles can actually shrink a bit. Thanks, Father Time. Really appreciate that. Now, should you be concerned? If you've noticed sudden changes in size, if there's pain, or if you're experiencing symptoms of low testosterone, like fatigue, low libido, mood changes, yeah, maybe chat with a doctor. But if they've always been on the smaller side and everything's functioning fine, you're probably okay. Your worth as a human isn't determined by your nut dimensions. I shouldn't have to say that, but here we are. Now let's talk about the other end of the spectrum. You're sitting there with what you've decided are above average testicles, probably feeling pretty smug about it. First, congrats, I guess. But here is the reality check. Larger testicles don't necessarily mean more testosterone, or more virility, or that you're basically a superhero. Biology, once again, refuses to be that simple. What larger size might indicate? Fluid buildup. Sometimes what feels like a larger testicle is actually a hydrocele buildup of fluid around the testicle. It's usually harmless, but can be uncomfortable. If one suddenly gets noticeably larger, that's worth checking out. Higher sperm production. There is some correlation between testicle size and sperm production. Larger testicles might produce more sperm. This was apparently really important to our evolutionary ancestors who were out there trying to have as many offspring as possible. Less relevant now that we have birth control and responsibilities. Just genetics. Sometimes you just won the genetic lottery for large testicles. Your ancestors passed down this trait through generations. Congratulations on your inheritance. Tumors or lumps. And here's where we get serious for a second. If you notice sudden growth, hard lumps, or changes in texture, that's a call your doctor today situation. Testicular cancer is highly treatable when caught early, but you have to actually catch it. Do your self-exams. I'm serious. The reality? Having larger testicles doesn't make you more of a man. It just means you have larger testicles. That's it. That's the whole story. If you're healthy and everything functions properly, the exact size is just trivia about your body. Can we talk about the guys who are freaking out because one is noticeably bigger than the other? This is normal. Say it with me. This is normal. One testicle being larger than the other is completely standard. One hanging lower than the other, also standard. This isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. This is literally how human anatomy works. However, and this is important if you notice sudden changes in asymmetry, or if one becomes significantly larger over a short period of time. That's different. That's worth getting checked. The key word here is sudden change. If they've always been different sizes and nothing's changing, you're fine. Stop comparing them and move on with your life. Here is the truth bomb. The size of your testicles matters way less than whether they ray healthy. What you should actually be paying attention to, texture. They should feel smooth and firm, not hard or lumpy. If you feel any hard lumps, bumps, or areas that feel different from the rest doctor, now changes. Are they suddenly bigger, smaller, harder, painful? Any change that happens quickly is worth investigating. Pain. Testicles shouldn't hurt regularly. Occasional discomfort. Sure, especially if you've been sitting weird or got hit or something. But persistent pain? That's a sign something's up. Function. Can you achieve and maintain erections? Is your libido normal for you? Are you experiencing other symptoms like extreme fatigue or mood changes? These matter more than measurements. The size of your testicles doesn't determine how masculine you are your worth as a partner, your ability to reproduce necessarily, whether you're man enough, anything about your character, personality, or value as a human. It's just a physical characteristic. Like having size 10 feet versus size 11. It's trivia about your body, not a referendum on your existence. Let's be clear about when you should actually call a doctor. Sudden changes in size bigger or smaller doesn't matter. Sudden is the keyword. Hard lumps or bumps that weren't there before. Testicular cancer is one of the most treatable cancers, but only if you catch it. Persistent pain that's not from an obvious injury. Symptoms of low testosterone, extreme fatigue, depression, loss of muscle mass, decreased libido, difficulty concentrating. One testicle is significantly harder than the other, or feels different in texture, swelling or redness that doesn't go away. Don't be the guy who ignores something serious because you're embarrassed. Doctors have seen it all. They've seen things you cannot imagine. Your testicles are not going to shock them. Get checked if something seems off. So what does your ball size say about you? Honestly, not that much. It might correlate with some hormonal stuff. It might tell us a bit about sperm production. It might indicate whether you need to see a doctor about something specific. But it doesn't define you. It doesn't determine your worth. And it's definitely not worth losing sleep over at 2 a.m. Do your monthly self-exams. Know what's normal for your body. Pay attention to changes. And for the love of everything, stop comparing yourself to some imaginary standard of what testicles are supposed to look like. Your body is your body. As long as everything's healthy and functional, the exact specifications are just data points, not judgments. And hey, if you're still worried, talk to your doctor. Seriously, that's what they're there for. Now stop Googling normal testicle size and go do something productive with your day. If this video helped you stress less about your anatomy, hit that like button. Subscribe for more brutally honest health content. And drop a comment if there are other awkward topics you want me to cover, because clearly we need to talk about this stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Now go hydrate and stop obsessing over your measurements.